ladies and gentlemen. Join me to welcome Barrister Richmond NATHA-ALADE. Over to you. You can unmute yourself and let's hear from you. That's it.
Good evening, Mr. Convener.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Shulafayemi, our Able Secretary.
Thank you.
I greet every other persons who are here tonight, or this evening, or this afternoon, or morning, depending on wherever you are talking from. My name is Richmond NATHA-ALADE. I'm a legal practitioner, and at the same time, I am a sympathizer, not a card-carrying member of APC, but a sympathizer with the cause and yearnings of our very own Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Well, I have critically examined all the parties who are vying or contesting for the present political offices as it relates to the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And critically examining them, I make bold to say that of all, the only person who seems to stand out presently is the person of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And what are my rationales for all this, for my disposition, for my choice of candidates? Well, I must say categorically, from onset, I've looked critically at all of them, having held public offices at one time or the other. And I must say that at every moment and time, we can be able to judge fairly as Kelly. Why do I choose Ahmed Tinubu? Ahmed Tinubu is somebody I've respected even before he declared for presidency. I will highlight about 4 or 5 points on my basis for deciding that Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu is the best and only candidate who can at least perform. Number one of it is when it comes to human capital. A leader can only succeed when you can sustain whatever you have done in government. And by successive plan, what do I mean by sustenance? When you are able to sustain, either through promotion of individual who can carry on what you have done, then that makes you a successful leader. Let us look at all the parties or persons who are vying for that office. Who among them can we rank as somebody who has human capital, who has people that are
okay? I believe his connection has gone bad. I'm hoping that he will be back at some point and he can continue right away.
Thank you. So looking at all of them, credibly, I must say that Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu stands out as the only person who has mentored a lot of people, who has influenced life positively, who has changed a lot of life in leadership, who has put among all the people, who of them all has put forward among the people the progressives. So sometimes you may not be able to know people who are likely to be the best sometimes, but having worked with many people and having made so many people, somehow, some way, you can fairly judge that this person can work well. And I must say categorically, I was opportune to lead a part of the, at the point.
Okay, that's it.
Sorry.
Okay.
At the point in time, one of the deputy governor of a state was impeached. I must say, which is the person of Ali Olanusi. I handled that matter from the lower court to appellate courts, and I must tell you categorically that man, when he was impeached, the purpose or the basis for his impeachment was the fact that he joined another party, which was APC. And I must tell you categorically that from the point of entering into that matter to the point of finishing that matter, he never knew that Asiwaju was the person who sourced for lawyer for him. He never knew. And this was the same person who single-handedly stood as opposition from the 2003 election till date. You understand? Who stood as opposition and who has never cross-carpet from any party to the other. Who is the person that we can call the person who has given us the country that we have today, that has not degenerated to that particular to that of how can I call it Venezuela or Greece or some other part of the world. This is the only person who stood, and I will say that's by the way anyway. But what am I trying to say? The only person who has the human capital is Atiku and Tinubu. And now my second point, when we look at their consistency, their how can I call it, their consistency, their stability, Atiku stand out number one. You can see Peter Obi has jumped for about 2, 3, 4 parties in the last political dispensations. Atiku Abubakar has joined several parties in the last political dispensation. The only person that has remained when it comes to stability and definition of purpose, I think, is Atiku and Tinubu. And I'm able to say that is the only person that I reckon that I think some way, because when you are looking at the quality of a good leader, stability and focus and purposeful leadership is also part of it. If somebody can singularly, despite the fact that he's in opposition and he believes in the local government developments, and he created the LCDA as the first government to create the LCDA, and the president of the day punished him for more than 24 months, and yet he was able to raise and sustain and pay salaries. Some way, I think is somebody to be lauded. And he has never been cowed. That is my second one. When it comes to stability, that is number one. Then when we come to their respective, what they have done or achieved in government, I must say categorically that Atiku stand out number one. Whoever can rule the complex Lagos can rule Nigeria. If you have Lagos as it is today, it's different from what is here today. Atiku came, he managed well. He didn't just manage well, he created a successive plan that has followed the blueprint of Lagos and is in charge. You know, that is what is called leadership. The person, you know, we knew how Lagos was when he came on board, and we knew through his government what he was able to attain. All the time, he was acknowledged and a judgment of the best governor in his time. And as at the time he was leaving, he didn't just leave, he also was able to sustain that platform. If he has not done well in Lagos, you will not be able to present somebody and people will buy it from you. If you have not done well, it's not possible that you say, okay, you want a successor and the people will not buy that successor from you. That is what all other candidates have failed to do in their various states. How many of them were able to present successor that was bought from them? None. They made nobody. So that is number 3 points. And another point, when it comes to influence, you know, when it comes to influence across board, Atiku Bola Ahmed Tinubu has influence. Like I will link this one to my first point. My first point was that he created, you know, my first point was that he has human capital. And part of that human capital, I will tell you, Atiku Ahmed Bola Tinubu story cannot be written away when it comes to Ekiti, when it comes to Osun, when it comes to Ondo, when it comes to Oyo. Atiku Ahmed Tinubu's imprints all across, not just in the southwest now, all across to the east, to the north, and to the north of this country, his impact is felt. That is why it is easy for him to have people raise 1 billion in less than 24 hours for him in the east, where he has a strong competitor, because of people he has always have value. At every point in time, whenever anybody is contesting, Atiku is there to donate. Atiku is there to believe in you. Atiku is there to also invest in you as a very good candidate. And this is somebody who has never lobbied for any appointment since he left office. He never said he wanted to be minister. And when you look at the antecedents of Atiku Ahmed Tinubu, you will know that from the time of MK Abiola, he has been sacrificing for this country. He was to be made the Senate president when he was a senator. He stepped down just because somebody has been appointed as the president. You understand? Coming from the West. And he felt it will fail the interest of the entire Southwest for him to also launch that ambition to be the president or the Senate president of this country. He stepped down. Now, let us look at how he's also he sacrificed his ambition for the present-day government, who is Buhari. You know, we might say that Buhari is a failure. He has not performed up to expectation, which I will not agree to. That is a failure. Buhari is still one of the best presidents in this country that this country ever had, save for frustration and some democratic values that also that lessens his performance. You know, he came in with the mentality of a dictator, but unfortunately, he boomeranged. That he even had to sacrifice his head for a year in the sick bed. And you know, his performance in the first time earned him his second term overwhelmingly, even more than the vote he had in second term because of his performance in his first time. The vote he had, that is a topic for another day. You know, even Buhari himself, that Asiwaju supported based on antecedent, meant well for this country. But you know, there are factors, you know, that limits the potential or the whatever you mean as a leader of a country. But that is a topic for another day. Now, let us look at the development of...
Okay. Barrister NATHA-ALADE,
yes,
you notice I've given you 10 minutes. And okay. I've added 1 minute to it because of the network interruptions you've had. You're going to have another 5 minutes later. So just hold it where you are now. So I'll quickly go on to, I believe, who do we have there going for the Labour or PDP? Anybody there? Otherwise, I'll jump to... Shalafahimi, could you let us know who is going for who, or otherwise we just Shalafahimi? Okay, I think we're not getting anything from his end. So
hello, Mr. Convener. Hello,
okay,
sir.
yeah. So do we have Mudashiru in the house, and who is going for the other point of view?
Yes, Mudashiru was once in the house, but I think maybe he had a network issue.
Okay.
He has fallen off of the years. But as it is now, I don't know, maybe if you have anybody in the house who believe in Atiku or somebody who believe in Obi, but as it is, we didn't have anybody to signify it squarely for those two people. Maybe they are trickling out because we have Barrister Rishamond and Mudashiru. For me.
So maybe they're scared. Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much for letting us know.
They might be scared of the batified people.
So Madam Buki, what side do you? Okay, let's hear from you. Let's hear from you for the next 5 minutes. Who do you support? Why and what is? Because the way it is now, I'll be able to give Barrister Richard maybe another 15 minutes. We'll give it another 10 minutes and another 20 minutes. I will give him 15 minutes. So it looks like we'll have a bit more time for him. So, Madam Buki, do you want to unmute and let us hear where do you stand in this and why?
Really, my take is the less of the three evils, so to say, because as it is, it seems anyway, there's nothing God cannot do, but as it is, it seems batified people has cleared the grounds, they prepared their homework well. As when you get to almost every corner.
Buki, now you're playing the politician. In fact, now I'm getting scared of you. That it looks like you're a PDP. You're a proper politician. You're playing politics now. Where do you stand and why? Where do you?
For me, this is my opinion.
Hey, where do you stand? And then you got on for me. This is my opinion. Now this is politics.
For now, I'm not standing with any of the three.
Oh,
for now, as of today.
Okay, but you made but that contradicts the statement you made just about 2 minutes ago that you're standing with the lesser of the three.
I'm making that statement from an informed perspective because really, but the issue is, at least for the things I can see within and around me, for now, Bat seems to have Bat seems to have a how would I put it now? A place ahead of the two, ahead of articulates and the obedience.
Finally. Oh my! Finally, at least we land. Okay, let's go.
Yes, let's go to TJ.
Let's go to TJ. Yeah. Now.
But please, Mr. Convener, please, before Barrister come on board the second time, I have some fundamental questions that I need to justify on how Asiwaju is going to, find solutions to those national problems that we currently encounter in the country.
Fantastic. So before I call him, that thanks for saying that, so that rather than let him talk and then we now start going into questions again, don't forget, and this is to tell all of you, by the time he comes in the second time, that's in the absence of any other major speaker, main speaker. By the time he comes in a second time, I'll probably give him like 20 minutes, and you're free to interrupt him with questions. Please do it respectfully, but as he's talking, you can say, no, I disagree, and then you put your point across, and then he'll be able to talk to you. So, but let's go to TJ. TJ has been waiting there for their point. So let's go for Tolu. You have the floor for 5 minutes. So I've started timing you now, and anyone will take over after you.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah. I don't know where I felt this was between people supporting candidates, and my position is pretty much knocking down every candidate. And I came in just before my brother, Comrade Ayole started speaking, and I listened to him, and I was literally smiling throughout. Tinubu did not build Lagos. Let's just set that one straight. I hate hearing that campaign about Tinubu building Lagos. Lagos was before Tinubu. And talking about the cleaning up of Lagos during Tinubu, what's the meaning of that one? That guy came in and turned all the touts. He wore uniform for the touts. I live in Lagos too. The thing with Lagos is that the side that faces you is the side you can speak of. I don't have a problem with anybody supporting any candidates. But you see, one of the best campaign lines that I would tell anybody supporting Tinubu to give. Yeah, you could, if they say he was chopping money, tell them he did not, at least he came in with the money he chopped from abroad. He's not among those chopping money and carrying it out. Let me give you campaign lines. Don't come to everybody telling us Tinubu cleaned up Lagos. Cleaned up Lagos for what the Fashola do? Don't take the activities of those who came after him and turn it to his own. Don't commonize the achievements of those who were before him just because you want them in power. Let us stop messing up our own history every time election comes around. See, Tinubu did what he did. Nobody, I will stand and tell people I would not malign his character because of election is coming up. There are good things Tinubu has done as a philanthropist, as whatever, but you cannot deny that he has a questionable character and he has never been able to sit down in front of anybody and defend his character. And that is questionable to a lot of people. It might not matter to you because you are seeing it from the positive side, but it matters to some of us. OPC that you're talking about, they were literally used to bully people now. They became the legal Omonile. There was a case of child abuse we had to intervene in. One of their members said one child offended him. The next thing, they took him to their convent. It took the intervention of other civilians to come in and break that boy out. We took that boy straight from there to the general hospital. That happened right, in fact, I can give you the address of where the incident happened. So when you talk about these things, I tell people that your experience can decide your candidates, not a problem. But do not undermine the feelings of others because you are trying to push your candidate. That is the same inhumanity that the leaders are trying to push that I do not appreciate. And it is one of the reasons I do not even stand with any of the candidates. Tinubu is a philanthropist. Good for him. He's not the only philanthropist we have in Nigeria. If he had contested as a president maybe in 2015, I might have voted for him. But I'm not going to vote for an 80-year-old man claiming to be 60-something. With no credible thing to back it up. Lagos is a state that if you bring in an idiot, Lagos will function. For goodness sake, we used to be the capital. And so Lagos is designed to function regardless of who is there. They talk about the master plan of Lagos. Was it Tinubu that gave you the master plan? Go and check your history well now. Let's stop messing up our history just because we want somebody in power. So please, let me first address that one. On that one, Tinubu, the only issue I have with Tinubu, I've always said it. I cannot have somebody who is barely able to stand on his own running for president, especially when he's running with somebody like Shettima as a vice. Voting Tinubu right now is equivalent to voting Shettima, because whenever he goes on medical trip, Shettima will be your president. I cannot have Shettima as president. Therefore, I cannot vote Tinubu as president. He is riding on people's emotions. If you are supporting Atiku, you are supporting privatization. It's all your choice. All the candidates, none of them is pure. If you like, clean them till tomorrow. None of them is pure. There would always be something with all of them that makes them inappropriate as far as I'm concerned.
The only thing I'll just point out is not all idiots can govern Lagos, and whether Tinubu did anything or not is it's for the panel to talk about, not for me. But those who would remember the time, you know, when Colonel Olagunsoye Oyinlola was military governor of Lagos State, it was an unrivaled disaster. It was a terrible disaster, and in fact, it took about, for the first 1 year or thereabout of Buba Marwa, you know, the whole Lagos was up against him because it was almost like a total failure. Chief Michael Otedola, the father of the big Otedola we talk about today, you'll find it difficult to point at anything that Baba did in his time, as of course the time was curtailed by the military government of General Sani Abacha. But of course, you'll be hard pressed to be able to point to anything that he did in that time. So it is totally incorrect to say anybody can. Those who say that, they don't really know Lagos very well. Not anybody can govern Lagos. We've had loads of Lagos, and the military administrator who cancelled the metro line that Alhaji Jakonde put, was it Mudashiro, what was his name? Who cancelled the metro line that the venerated Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde LKJ put in place. He was a failure as well. So I believe Lagos has even had more failures as governors than successes. Well, until, you know, so that's that. But I leave the argument now. So let's go to D1. After D1, then we give the floor to Richard Mon, and then all of you can. It's a free for all at that point. Richard Mon, we have the floor. Oh, we have Richard's Jimo. Oh, who's just joined? I'm just up Shalafayemi to ask his questions, and Richard Mon goes on, and then all of you. It's a free for all until 5 minutes to the hour when we should be rounding up. So over to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Convener. For me, I want to appreciate Richard Mon's brilliant submission, and likewise as corroborated by TJ and some of other comrades who have also spoken in support of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But my point is this, please, I want everybody here this night who are rooting for Tinubu to tell us, it's a laudable thing that Tinubu has been able to sustain his political stamina, his political tentacle since 1990, since 2007, when he left being the governor of Lagos State. But I want them to tell us in clear terms the source of revenue, the source of income of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and what he has been doing since 2007 that has given him that financial muscle to have gotten that relevance and financial stability to now. 1, 2, you know, all of us understand how sensitive the nation is in terms of insecurity and what have you. I want our brothers who are supporting Asiwaju to tell us in clear terms the plan of Asiwaju, you know, to curb insecurity, bearing in mind that it's a principal actor to the enthronement of the APC-led government that we currently have right now, and what APC have been able to, you know, to do, and the level of division, the level of insecurity we've had over time. And thirdly, because I remember in 2019, Asiwaju was one of the key principal factors who was on podium in conjunction with Muhammadu Buhari and the host of others to promise Nigerians that 5,000 naira we always paid on a monthly basis to the unemployed graduate and youth in the country. What is going to do to erase that, you know, that notion from our mind? And the last question is this. I remember also in 2019, because as it is right now, we only be deceiving ourselves. If you look at the political structure and how democracy is being structured in this country, We cannot treat in isolation the role of the party flag bearer away from the, the contributions of the party in which that person is flying, on. Now, all of us can attest to that fact that APC has disappointed us in this country in the last 7 years. 65% of the promises they made to us in 2015 are yet to be fulfilled. Looking at security, looking at economy, looking at education, health sector, and some other variables that are noticeable initially that we can easily pinpoint to. APC has greatly failed us as a country. How is Asiwaju going to justify and tell us again that this same APC who have failed to deliver the dividend of democracy to Nigerians in the last 7 years, the same party is going to bring on board to right the wrongs and to put on a better pedestal of prosperity? Thank you, sir.
In fact, the Shola Fayemi really means business, because if someone has used 4 or 5 minutes to ask questions, the person who is going to answer is in trouble. So, like I said, this is free for all. Richard, over to you. But please, everybody, this is free for all now. You won't even hear me. You won't see me for the next 20 minutes. Please take the floor. Over to everybody. So, Richard, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Convener. Thank you, Shola Fayemi. I must mention again, thank you for bringing me on board once again. Before I answer the question of Shola Fayemi, I was trying to highlight the reasons why I've made the decision to follow or to pitch my tent with that of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, I mentioned about 4 points which borders on the personality and leadership quality of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let me highlight them again before I add my 5 other points. Before I now answer that question, some of those questions. Number 1, I said of all the candidates, when it comes to stability and the certainty, Asiwaju stands out as number 1. The only person who has not crossed carpets or who is not a political alert from one party to the other, who has given us the democracy as an opposition, which we have today, is the only person who is stable. Obi has moved from several parties. Atiku has moved from several parties. Every of the other counterpart has moved from several parties. It's only Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, based on principle, that has remained in his party, which others has joined him to build a better Nigeria. If there's no APC today, our situation would have been of that of Somalia, that of Ecuador, that of Venezuela or Greece today.
Thank you, Barrister. I'm sure.
Please let me learn. I'm trying to please let me. I will come to your question.
He bet APC. And he has been in APC, so his blood and veins are in APC. Thank you.
Yes, I will come to your question. Then number 2, when it comes to achievement in government, I told you that Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu is nowhere equal to any of the candidates that have been brandished by other parties. Lagos of today is different from Obi of Anambra or Atiku of Adamawa or whichever state they may come from. Lagos as it today is where other tribe of Nigeria run to, and they seek refuge and they prosper. I don't want to go into details of when it comes to achievement in government, both as a leader and in successive plan, in carrying out the master plan of Lagos today. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu stands tall when it comes to successive plan and achievement in government. And remember, like I told you earlier, nobody will collect or take from you your successor if you have not done well yourself. It is only when you have done well that you can say, oh, this is the person I'm handing over to.
Please, everybody, sorry, I'm not interrupting.
Sorry,
everybody, you can always exception yourself and say anything when you want
Mr.
Convener.
Mr. Convener, exception to that, please. Can you tell me invariably that it was because Fayemi did well in Ekiti that made Bao to become the governor?
Please, Mr. Fayemi, let me just highlight my point. Then
I want to negate that point. That because you've done well, that is you can
Fayemi did well now.
Mr. Fayemi, please.
Cargo airport in Ekiti State.
Can you just hold on and let me just
the airport
put
that
my point together?
Except the one that flown 3 months ago. The airport.
Can you just let me put my point together?
It's new. It's new.
You can lead your successor into power. It is not a function of you that have done well that you can make your successor to come into place. So please, that is not a justification to say Akiwaju has done well.
Mr. Shola Fayemi, let me just put my points together. You can jot down that you cannot pitch holes on anything I've said. But I'm telling you as of today, you cannot say that because he has not done well. Nobody has said that Tinubu didn't do well in Lagos. So if you are saying you are having an exception, we have said it. Nobody said Tinubu didn't do well in Lagos. As a governor, he won twice the best governor of the year. You understand? So you can't say he didn't do well to have won the best governor of the year. And at the same time, so let us, if you are saying that, you see,
he generates the highest IDR. He makes the largest money. He has all it takes to become the best governor.
Mr. Shola Fayemi, please, can you just allow me?
I will do better than him.
Can you just allow me to put my point together?
Was a governor in Lagos State, he will be the best governor 10 times.
If I were,
Mr. Shola Fayemi,
let me just put my point together.
Tell us what Atiku has done. You are one of those soliciting for Atiku.
Please, can you let me put my point? Can you let me put my point together? My second point was that, yes, and I've made it. So if you now have any other reasons, then maybe let me just put all my points together. I have 11 points here. I've mentioned 4. I'm only trying to highlight the earlier 4 that I've mentioned. I'm still about to mention 5. But why I put my point
better than Tinubu.
If you now see reason why other candidates are better, then you cannot tell us your reasons why other candidates are better. It's not just about us making unnecessary diversions or making unnecessary arguments. It's about who is the best candidate. So if you think, oh, he wasn't the best,
he met on ground.
So please let me just articulate my points together. And number 3, when it comes to sacrifice for this country for democracy, Tinubu has sacrificed for this country. Like I said earlier, part of his sacrifice was his stability in remaining in PDP. I mean, remaining in AD, later AC, later APC. You understand? Which is the unified factor that created the strongest opposition that were able to at least upturn PDP. And that is why we have the country we have today. And our country has not turned to Somalia. That is what I'm saying. When it comes to sacrifice, that's why Zimbi we shunted. That's why being deprived of allocation from federal for more than 20 months, he stood his ground. That is number 3 points. Number 4 points, which I mentioned, was human capital. None of all these people you are mentioning or you are brandishing today has made human being, has made personalities, has made somebody, has turned human being to person of high caliber. When it comes to Tinubu, when it comes to leadership, Tinubu is the only person that's successfully been in government since 1999 to date. That has been unmuted, that has become a very big factor in Lagos. Not just in Lagos, across Southwest. Not just across Southwest, across the country. So I must tell you, when it comes to human capital, from the east to the west to the north and to every part of the country, Tinubu ranks number 1. Now, discredit that with any party, any of the candidates that you think has done better than him when it comes to human capital. And like I said earlier, that is why it's easy for him to go to Obi's backyard and raise 1 billion in less than 24 hours for campaign. And that's the way they're also raising it in every part of the country for him. It's because of what he has sold. That is number 4. Then number 5, I must tell you, when it comes to cerebral and mental capability, when it comes to when it comes to who can speak well, when it comes to who can address you well.
Akiwaju is mentally retarded. Blah blah blue.
Now.
3 times in 1 month. He's incoherent, he's grammatically unstable, he's mentally derailed. And you are telling us he can speak eloquently. Akiwaju without drought, he cannot present.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Stop selling what cannot be sold. There are campaign points, but don't even bring that one.
Right, sorry,
that one,
guys,
please. Speak
guys, please. You know, somebody just said.
To make my point.
Hello, gentlemen and ladies. I just said somebody said, "As Siwaju without drugs cannot
You are the
function.
one claiming
Please,
his control. A
this is
mentally developed person can still be
hello.
controlling.
This is a platform for us to, you know,
Please,
push
please,
our position.
we are comparing candidates, please. Not just talk out of the blue. The problem I'm having with Shola Fayemi is that he's talking out of the blues. That's just a candidate that is better than him. It's not just about passion or emotion. It's about who is better. Let us have that at the end of our mind, so that we can be able to do justice to this topic. It's not just about emotion.
Ladies,
It's about
I just have my popcorn.
all the candidates. Who is better?
I just have my popcorn and I'm listening to you guys. But the point is this: someone just said Asuwaju takes drugs. Can we please leave?
Maybe it's the misuse of words. The person actually meant medication.
No. Please, I will come back. Please, I will come down to that. Please, let me just
forget
articulate my point.
Can
somebody just allow me to articulate? Let me articulate my point. All this issue of drug or no drug, I will come back to it. When it comes to cerebral and mental capability, we have listened to all of them speak. We know how Obi speak. We know how Atiku speak. All of other candidates, we know how they speak. And you cannot tell me, if somebody make mistakes in about 1 or 2 times, it now means that the person doesn't reason well or talk well. That is your own opinion. To me, I've listened to all of them, and to the best of my understanding and the best of my decoding, Atiwaju, when it comes to addressing issues, Atiwaju address issue better than any of them. All of that, Obi has been appealing to emotion. Nothing more. Nothing to say. He has never addressed issue. He has been appealing to emotions. Atiku does not even have anything to say. So please, whenever we are addressing issue, let us have it at the back of our mind that is about best candidate, not just about arguments. Then that's my number 5 point. I've listened to all of them speak, and I can categorically say that when it comes to cerebral and mental capability, Atiwaju ranks number 1 among all the candidates who are the major candidates and major contenders. Then going to number 6. When it comes to financial capability, all of us know that election cannot be run by a pauper or somebody who doesn't have the wherewithal or the political or financial wherewithal. You know, Atiwaju is number 1 when it comes to finance. This is somebody that has built himself from the time he was working. As a chartered accountant, he became a millionaire in dollars before he assumed office as government. And he has not just been in this game. He has been in this game since in 1980s. We are aware of history. We are not people like Obi people. We know history. And anybody we follow them to letter. Do you understand? Somebody who has been a millionaire when Naira has value, when dollar has value in the 1980s, in 1990s, and you're not saying that the person is a poor man. It's only a dummy that will be a millionaire in dollars about 30 years ago and will remain the same. Not to not mention that he has built on it. He has been the government on it. He has done so many other things. He has invested. So how can you not say that, oh, he's a poor man? So, like I was saying, when it comes to financial capability, you cannot compare any other candidate to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's the only person that can successfully finance election. When it comes to election, you understand? So that is another point. Now my number 7 point. When it comes to somebody who has the political wherewithal today, please, please mute your mic, please. You are distracting, please. Somebody is distracting, please. Mute your mic if you must talk. My number 7 point. When it comes to detribalize and the religious leader, Atiwaju Ahmed Tinubu is number 1. We have listened to all of them speak at various places. We know how Atiku was appealing to the Muslim that is their right to continue to lead. We know how Peter Obi has been appealing to Christians, Catholic Christians, to say that it's their position, they should take it back. Only Bola Ahmed Tinubu remains the one and only person who has a wife as pastors and children as Christian, and who himself is a Christian. So you cannot equate him with every other candidate when it comes to the tribalization and the religiosity of a country, to govern a country like Nigeria. You cannot in any way. So that is one of the reasons I'm pitching my tent with him. Then I will tell you again, when it comes to philanthropy or philanthropist work, you cannot measure Tinubu to any of all these candidates. You know, Tinubu is the one that has been making public donations to disasters, to people who are under disaster in this country. Atiku has been using his money to get tickets. He has been using his money to do whatever he wants. That's why the money is tainted with corruption. Obasanjo said it. I'm not fabricating fact. That the money he stole is enough to feed 300 people for 300 years. That means a lot. Until today, he has not come out to say that, no, what Obasanjo said is incorrect. Instead, he admitted and was begging. So, when it comes, even despite having corruption money, he has not used that money or channeled that money in the right source by helping the underprivileged. There are a lot of Amagiris in the north. He has not helped them. Tinubu is the only person that will go to a war and donate to people that were massacred. A Muslim donating to Christians, people that were massacred in a war. He will be the one to be in Damaturu or Yobe to donate to people who has disaster one way or the other, either security issue. He will be the one to go to Kogi and donate 100 million to people who are flooded. You cannot equate him when it comes to spending money in the right way in a philanthropic manner compared to other candidates. You cannot. So, and I must say that Tinubu, you understand, ranks number 1. Then another thing, which is my number 8 or number 9 point, I can't remember now. You know, when it comes to past achievements, you cannot take him out. You cannot take away. Now, let me address some of the issues and concerns that some of the Nigerians are now saying that, oh, because of this, he cannot rule. You know, you are just somebody to be a drug baron. Who is a drug baron? You know, before you can say somebody is guilty on an offense, in Nigeria, you must have taken him on to another the rigor of a legal finance. And he must have been convicted. If somebody was in opposition, even when he was no longer in government, you understand, he was in opposition for about how many years? And EFCC cannot arrest him and jail him, despite the fact that we are using EFCC to arrest oppositions and jail them compulsorily. He cannot be arrested and jailed all through those times. He cannot be whisked to Abuja and jailed. They are jailing other people. NDLA, despite the fact that he's in opposition, all through the time of Obasanjo, after, when Jonathan was in government, he cannot be invited and jailed. That's why the father is in opposition. And in your own mind, in the campaign of calumny and character assassination, you believe that kind of person is a drug baron, he's a thief, he has been stealing money. Then you need to ask your senses where it belongs. Because for you to say that somebody of that caliber who is standing out against others, you understand? Every other person, I remember when every other person were decaming, they were decaming because they were in fear that they would be witch-hunted. But he refused. That's why the fact that he doesn't have immunity any longer. He doesn't have anything. He refused to decamp. And in your own right sense, you believe that that kind of person is still supposed to be the person who is most corrupt, a thief. And the money he has stolen, you have not been able to tell us. He has not been convicted. The drug that he has carried,
barrister,
you have not been able to tell us. Please, when we are addressing you, we are addressing you based on substance, not on speculation.
Wait.
As a lawyer, I'm trained. As a lawyer, I'm trained to address issue. As a lawyer, I'm trained to address issue based on facts, not on speculation, not on sentiment, not on what people are saying. You're not here.
Very well.
Were you his accomplice when he carried drug? Were you his accomplice when he stole Lagos money? Are you his accomplice? Who among you were there when he carried Lagos money? Who among you were there when he carried drug? Did you use you or your sister to carry the drug? Did you put the drug in your stomach? So why you say he's a drug baron? Why you say it's a drug baron? Did you put the drug in your stomach, or in your sister's stomach, or in your friend's stomach? Let anybody who has been a witness, who is a witness to this fact, let the person come out and say, I was a witness. You don't follow what people are saying. You don't follow what people are saying.
I want to quickly.
Now, let me address the issue of age. Let me address the issue of age.
During the last
let me
election,
address the issue of age.
2 years back,
remember, the superpowers of the world, from the US to Germany to France, all of them are either septuagenarian or octogenarian. It's in Nigeria that you will be appealing to senses.
Are we having a conversation or is it a shouting match? Barrister, please, you're not addressing those in your corridors of law. I mean, you have some international listeners here. Can you please just calm your nerves down, okay?
Yes,
please,
thank you.
let's have a conversation and not a shouting match. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Please, I have the floor. Let people allow me to make my point. Then they can now. That will limit the issue of
Let me
shouting.
just ask a question that we still want to react to.
I will address it.
Okay.
Now, let me talk about
the
video of the bullion ban.
I expected everybody to be fully participating in this, you know. So, but look, we've got just about 3-4 minutes more, you know. But it's been fun. But the way it has gone tonight, we will do it again. But I'll probably yield the floor to another moderator maybe next weekend, you know. But so what barrister, usually the way it is, you should even when they want to ask questions or point things out, they should be allowed, you know, and then you carry on from there. But let's just do another 4 minutes and then we'll round it off. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I want to crave the indulgence of barrister to allow me react to the Shola Fayemi's questions about how Bola Ahmed Tinubu, became as wealthy as he is today. First and foremost, let me say that you would do well to tell us where an Atiku worked apart from being a custom officer.
I asked 4 questions. I
just want to pick that up. I'm leaving that to the remaining ones to the barrister. I said first and foremost, tell us what an Atiku did apart from being a custom officer. And let me tell you that while Atiku was a custom officer at Umberi, Bola Ahmed Tinubu was an executive in ExxonMobil. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he told us when you guys were raising issues of how he made his money, etc., he said that he was already a millionaire in dollars before venturing into politics. That he invested into Apple. You are supposed to make your investigations. You don't come in. It's not compulsory that people just come after because we have had a kind of a mindset. Now I want to continue carrying it about. Do your investigations. He said he was already a millionaire in dollars before venturing into politics. And so if he mentioned Apple Choice as a place where he invested and got a lot of money. And you will also do well to tell us how he got the money to sponsor the Nadeco people in UK. He did that personally. And so if anybody is saying Tinubu this, Tinubu that, I think we should also dig into it. We should not just, because of our hatred for that personality, decide to just run things out there. But personally, like I said, Atiku was a custom officer, while Tinubu was a treasurer in Mobile. So if you don't know how he came about money, I think you should pick that up. Secondly, he was that individual that said that he was already a millionaire in dollars. So if you don't, I think he said this more than 2-3 months ago. And by now, I believe that people should have gone out to tell us, yes, all he said were false. And so if you are not able to say that, I think we should move away from why we want a situation where we just thought that it is necessary for us to drag that man down at all costs without even having any evidences against him. The barrister just told you that he was in opposition all through his life, and despite the fact that even PDP stalwarts were being hunted into prison, Tinubu was not tried. And you can see a former EFC chairman following him about. He said he did everything within the country and outside to make sure that they discover Tinubu's financial improprieties. And they are not able to find any. And that is why that man remains, wherever you see Tinubu now, you see him there. And so I think that's enough.
Comrade TJ will need to draw a line under it for tonight. It has gone even further beyond.
Governor, with all due respect, sir, it appears that with the way this conversation is trending, I think you should allow more time and let people just have their feel.
I totally agree with you, but you know, look, we also have to be mindful of some people who always you'll see that we've been having more numbers since we've been very strict with time. A lot more are attending now, unlike when we used to overrun with our special guests, you know. But this is what I'm gonna do. Next Sunday, by the grace of God, the SecGen and Comrade Richards Jimo will moderate, and we're going to have the same topic again. Is that okay, everybody? So, Barrister Richamon, in fact, I saw another side.
No,
Oh, go on. Tolu wanted to point out something.
Able to comment. I like his input. Allow the SecGen to be available to engage.
Oh, okay. So the SecGen
okay, well,
should
I will
not...
moderate then. I will moderate.
Okay, so you don't want the SecGen to moderate. Okay, SecGen,
Yes.
did you hear that?
You know, I don't really have a side. I'm also enjoying this discussion. So please don't pick the SecGen out. He's a principal for the PDP camp. It's essential that he's able to engage.
No, I'm not a PDP person. No, I'm not a PDP person.
You are.
You're
Don't deny the
PDP
member.
Okay, let me leave you out of party, but you're a principal at this, so just I want you in.
Yes, I'm a key stakeholder. I'm a key stakeholder.
Okay, what about D1?
Exactly, so I want you in.
Okay, do you want D1 to be a co-moderator, or you think he's
D1
an
is
interested
D1
party as well?
Yeah,
or
D1
you think he's an interested party?
Guys.
So can I just jocularly ask
okay,
this
Richard
question?
Chimo, we've got to close now.
Okay,
so next Sunday, by the grace of God, we're going to do it same time, 6 to 8 p.m. Barrister Richard Chimo, please get ready. Let all the other speakers get ready. No, we have to go. Okay, just 5 seconds. Go on. Look, no, 5 seconds.
Yes. I just want to remind you that we won once again. We won last week, we won this week. We are expecting them next week. Thank you.
Who are those who won?
APC. That's back to
At the end of the day, you are the one allowing everything to end without a conclusion.
Okay, please.
Divide and rule. Everybody divide it. You divide, you have won. There is no winning yet. The house is still divided. There is no winner yet.
Okay.
We are not divided, though. APC has a larger at the upper hand here.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Not even the APC.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will have to mute all of you at this point. Thank you so much. It's been such a wonderful one.